Hi everyone, Karl de Leeuw here. Welcome to Light Surface. Today we've got Feroz Ahmad, all the way from Srinagar in Kashmir. And I went to Kashmir, Srinagar 2017. I think it was about April 2017.
Yeah.
And by the travel agents, they arranged this amazing guy, and his name is Feroz. And I arrived at the airport and with this massive smile. And I'm absolutely honored to have Feroz discuss the topic Jesus in India, but just going through what we did during the week or so that I spent there. Thank you for having you on today, Feroz.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. My pleasure.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's kick off. So I've given the introduction. So the topic, as I mentioned, Jesus in India. So according to the life of Saint Isa, Jesus was taught by Buddhist monks for 6 years. Also, Buddha was taught by actually Hindus for 6 years before that. And according to the Talmud of Gamaliel and the Quran, Jesus didn't die on the cross. But I went to Kashmir to find out a bit more. I mentioned the airport. Then the second item I want to discuss is where Feroz and Salim, the travel agent, took me to Moses' shrine. And it was about, from recollection, Feroz, it was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours drive outside.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and
yes, I remember the day. I remember the day when we started the journey. Actually, the place is in Bandipora district, and by name of Atwatu, which was my first. It was my first visit to, because I was not aware of that place at the time. When the Carl said me, Feroz, today we are visiting this place, Atwatu. I was searching on the Google map where it is. Then finally, I called upon my friend who are residing in that place, Safapora, who joined us. Called it. Maybe you remember the place, the persons.
Yes, well, I I remember, as you said, Atwatu, ATHVWATOO, and it's close to Bandipura, Bandipura, and then
Yes.
But we struggled a bit. Now that area, is that part of the Chinese-controlled area? Because we went through checkpoints.
No. It was an Indian army forces. It's a border area actually. Due to some law and order situations, the police is deployed there because it's a forest area.
Okay, so that the
So
police
the
there
forces,
was that.
they were very cooperative and friendly with us. We were stopped by them in several checkpoints. They just checked our car and told us, where are you going? We simply told them that we are visiting this place, Atwatu, and they let us go.
Yeah, so that area we went to, that close to Atwatu, is Indian controlled, is by the Indian government controlled. It's not Pakistan or China. Yes.
No, it's Kashmir, part of Kashmir.
So then we got to the place, then we went over a river, and you found this gentleman that he couldn't speak English, but you started talking to him, and then he confirmed that it is Moses' shrine.
Yes. I told him, because I was not aware of that. Is there any shrine or any evidence or proof that Jesus visited that place? But it was actually the place there is Moses. Yes, it was Moses.
Yeah.
Moses. Actually, when we reached that spot, Atwatu, there was a small shop there. Maybe you remind the place. There was a small shop there where from you bought some tomatoes.
I remember.
So, yeah, I also remember. And I asked that person, is there any place famous by the name of Moses? He said, yes, there's a place called in Kashmiri language. Could I speak it in Kashmiri? What is called in Kashmiri language?
Sorry, just say again. What's
the place we visited in Atwatu?
Yes.
In Kashmiri, they call it Musa Sobun.
Musa, which is obviously
Musa.
Moses.
We call him Musa, peace be upon him, the prophet of Allah. And I said, this is actually really, is there any place? He said, yes. And I said, Carl, yes, there is some place, there is something we should confirm. And then the person joined us. we sought his help, and he said yes, okay, and he helped us to find that place. When we reached, after it was on walking distance, it was not so far from that river. It was on walking distance, a steep ascent there.
Yeah. And it
Yeah,
was just, all it was
there was a stone there.
a stone and then a lot of red plastic that
Yes,
they
yes,
come
it was
every
just
year.
tied. It's I don't know what their belief it is. Uh, uh, it's a place which was encircled by some erecting some iron poles with a wire, and some people, maybe local people, there. It was a small village of around 40 to 60 houses there, residential houses there, small village.
Yeah, very,
So
very,
they might
very
be.
small.
It was what was their belief? I don't know, but they said that Moses once visited valley and he had taken a rest for a while there in this place. And after leaving this place, he had left for this forest land, which is very high and high altitude. Forest was there, a mountain there,
Yeah.
and we stayed there for a while. I think for half an hour.
And what's amazing is that the locals, this has been passed on year after year after year, because Moses was about 1,200 years before Christ. So we're talking about 3,200 years. The
It's
locals
almost
have passed this on this message. Okay, and then we went opposite the river again, and we went to there was a B&B. Well, it's like a place where we had something to eat. I think it
yes,
was
it's HR dots.
Arkar. Let me just see. Oh yeah, I see the river is the Matmati River.
Madhumati, yeah.
Yeah, Madmumati. And there was this Harmuth Health Resort opposite, Harmukh
Yes,
Health
it's
Resort. Yes, and I've got
HR
that
resort, yes.
J&K Tourism Corporation as well. Okay, so that was the second thing. The third thing is you took me up on the hill because the Pleiadians in the Talmud of Gamaliel, they say that Jesus died at age 115 on one of the hills outside Srinagar. Not like a lot of, like the Ahmadiyyan Muslims, for instance, believe, we're going to come on to that. He was actually died inside Srinagar, but we'll come on to that. But you took me up this hill called the Shankarashia hill.
No, it's actually you can't pronounce it properly. There's a temple now that's called Shankaracharya Temple, and the hill is famously known by the Takhti Suleiman, the Solomon.
That's right, Solomon, the prophet, the
Yes,
Old
which is in
Testament prophet.
Srinagar.
Yes, and he
Yes.
was, and from other research is that Solomon was said to have drained the Kashmir valleys, because before that whole valley was flooded. And then, according to information I got, is that Solomon actually had the foresight to drain the Kashmir valleys. But so that Shankarashriya that is a Hindu name. Is that correct?
What? Shankaracharya, yeah, it's a Hindu name.
But the names you mentioned to me, and you spoke to a local there, we went up to that temple, the names was changed. Before it was different names.
Yes, it was Solomon Peaks, Solomon Peak.
Solomon Peak. Now, I got a feeling, I remember we've got a photo on my Facebook where I stood there. I just got a feeling that was where Jesus passed away. But, okay, and then the fourth item was, you took me to a place called Ash Bugam, which is ASH and then MUQAM.
Yeah.
And I read from online, but I couldn't get anywhere, that Moses's rod is kept there.
Yeah, it's the belief, but nobody is allowed to visit that place. Nobody has been given the permission to visit and look the rod. Actually, as per the news and the information I had, before some years, I think maybe 50, 60 years before, it was stolen. The rod was, some miscreants, maybe there is rod now, but I don't know what it is there. It's their belief. They said that the rod of Moses is still there in the Ashmukam. Now it's a shrine there. There's a shrine there en route to Pahalgam, a tourist destination in Kashmir. And before 40 kilometers of Pahalgam, there's a place called Ashmukam, where it's believed the rod of Moses is there. And no local, not even locals are allowed to get inside that cabin and have a look, have a glimpse of that rod. So I didn't, but we had some information from the locals that the rod of Moses is still there.
Yeah, and we couldn't get anywhere. Okay, so
No,
that was the fourth item. And then you took me to the local museum. Now, I also read that the Star of David was in the local museum, but we couldn't find it. And then I spoke to the curator of the museum, and he knew nothing about. He sort of gave us a blank look, so I didn't know if he knew something about it. But apparently, the Star of David used to be in the local Srinagar museum, but it wasn't there when we visited.
Yes. We visited that place. And we purchased the tickets. We were searching for the Star of David, but unfortunately we didn't get any clues. And you have spoken to that person who was the caretaker of that museum and employee there, the deputed by government of Jammu and Kashmir. He just said, no, you can have a look, whatever it is there, it's visible. Nothing is hidden there. But we didn't find any Star of David there.
Yeah. So that was the fifth one. The sixth item out of 7 that I put down here is that we then went to University of Kashmir and we met the secretariat there, and he's actually a doctor of philosophy, Dr. Hilal Ahmad, same surname as yourself.
Hilal Ahmad, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And we were discussing, have they got information about anything in the library there, but all from recollection, all the
manuscript
is in a different language. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was hard for them to translate.
Yeah. So we were talking about getting money and getting it translated, but it never came to that. But then Dr. Hilal Ahmad, yourself, Salim, the travel agent.
Yeah, Salim.
Yeah, we went out and we visited his family, this Dr. Hilal Ahmad's family.
Yes, we
remember. And
yes, I remember.
And they are Muslims because just for people listening, 96% of Kashmir is Muslims, although it's Hindu controlled, Indian government controlled. And they believe that local Muslim family and Dr. Hilal, as far as I know, they believe in reincarnation.
There's a small sect of the persons called Mirzais. I didn't met them. You personally met them because Dr. Hilal strictly instructed us, you can't go there. You can't go there. Please. So be careful. You better stay in my home. I will take Karl with me and we will have a meeting with them. He had fixed it with them already in advance.
Oh, didn't you go on the trip? Were you not in the car on that trip?
I was in the car with you.
Oh, you waited outside. You waited outside.
Yes, I waited out because Dr. Hilal told us strictly, you are not allowed to visit that person.
Now I recall.
I will take Karl with me. And then you alone go to that house where that person was residing, and Dr. Hilal took you there. I was not with you there. I was with you up to Dr. Hilal's residence, and I waited there for almost 1.5 hours.
Oh, from his residence, you waited there, and then we went with his car to his family. Yes. Now I recall. Yes. Okay, and then the last item is that we went to the center of somewhere in Srinagar, and this is where I mentioned that the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and others believe that Jesus was there, and there is a shrine for Jesus there. And but because I don't believe that is a shrine, I didn't necessarily want to go in. And in fact, I think you tried to get me in, but a local person said they didn't like tourists to visit the place. Was that right?
Yes, it was right. It's right. They even didn't like the locals to visit that place. It's strictly closed for everybody. Some guardians are there. There's a small shopkeeper. He's the guardian of that place. It's just in central Srinagar, Steve, called Khanyar. Is a place. The Ahmadiyas believe that it's the resting place where the Jesus is buried there, the cemetery of Jesus. But it's not believed. It's not historically prone. There are hundreds of myths behind it. That's the reason the caretaker there, who didn't allow us, not even us, he didn't allow anybody to visit this shrine. It's in Srinagar. It's in Srinagar, central Srinagar, in Khanyar. From I think Salim's office, it's just 1 mile away.
Yeah, yeah,
And the place is called Khanyar.
that's right. I recall that. Okay, well, that was our 7 places.
And we also
And
visited Hajin. We also visited the Hajin when we returned from this Atwa to Bandipora and route to the Srinagar. We stopped at Hajin where we had met with an accident. The tear gas shelling was going on there. You remember?
oh yes, I remember that there was riots,
There's the
wasn't
author,
there?
Dr. Hajni.
Yeah, there was riot, wasn't there? Is it the place when there was riots and they were throwing tear gas? Was that the one?
Hello, Carl. I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you, Feroz. Can you hear me now?
Yes. It's okay now.
Yes. Was that where they there was a protest and they were throwing tear gas?
Yes. There was tear gas sharing and some stone pelters were there. We just had a miraculous escape, and then the person we met, we just stopped our car in a government hospital nearby there. Maybe it was government hospital or some government school there, government operating school there. And finally, we met the person who took us to his home, and we had a cup of tea there.
Yes, I remember that.
You had
yes.
your favorite black tea, no milk, no sugar. I remember.
yes. That was fantastic. So tell me, Feroz, to end our conversation.
Again, for hearing your audio. Yeah. Thank you. It's okay.
Yeah, to end our conversation, I want to ask you. So Srinagar is known to be heaven on earth, but actually currently Srinagar is a heavily disputed piece of land because in my talk, Jesus in India, I mentioned why all 5 main religions has been there: Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I know you big into world peace. Do you think world peace is possible in our lifetime? Coming from Srinagar,
Yes,
one
I
of the
believe.
most, coming from Srinagar, one of the most disputed places, because if you take Israel, it's really only 3 religions, but in Srinagar, you've got the 5 main religions that make up 80% of humanity. Yeah, do you think world peace is possible?
100% I believe, because your belief makes you strong, and still strong that peace is possible. The only thing is that we just have to come out from our illusions and myths. We have to behave and we have to live like humans as we are created. Our creator is one. There is no creator except Allah. And you know what I believe. As a Muslim, I believe we have to follow the rules of creator, not the creation. The creator best knows us. I can give an example. If we bought a TV or any other computer or anything else from the market, there's a manual book with it, always kept it. So a person who takes it from the market can handle it properly. He knows every tit and bit of his product because he has created it. He knows what to do when you face any problem. Can you hear me, Carl?
I can hear you 100%.
Yes. So our creator is one. That's common in every religion. But by passing years and hundreds of years, there comes something which we created, which we misinterpret. It's my firm belief on Moses, Jesus. They were the prophets. It's my firm belief. I can be called a true Muslim if I believe upon them. They were the prophets. If I didn't believe upon them, I'm not a Muslim. It's my faith. So keeping it aside, being human, I have to give the respect to every religion, every person, even atheists too, who didn't believe in creator. Let them, but they are common, they are humans. We all are humans. The peace is possible. There are still good people, good countries, good nations who support peace. There are some black sheep in every community. We should come out from this. We should work for the peace, and peace will prevail. Peace will prevail. God
Ab-
willing, I believe, I have firm belief, peace will prevail.
Absolutely. Well, Feroz, it's amazing just hearing you that, because I also believe.
I'm lucky to have Carl on the other side talking with me after a gap of 4 years. Carl, you won't believe. Do you remember when you left the Kashmir? I was crying.
Yeah, I was crying in my heart as well. We had a fantastic time, and you were the best tourist guide, travel agent. You and Salim and taxi driver. You know, it was absolutely amazing. And less is more. It's one of the Kabbalistic secrets. So thank you for our chat. Thank you for your time. I'm so appreciated to have had you on discussing the journey and the information that the Old Testament prophets and Jesus was in Kashmir.
Always at your service, my dear brother. My dear brother.